Hello, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a totally fascinating blueprint for holistic human development in the modern age. It is so incredibly easy to over-index on just one part of our lives, right? Like, maybe you spend literally all day staring at screens, or you hit the gym hard but totally neglect your social life. Well, today, we're going to look at a comprehensive map for how we learn, create, move, and protect ourselves.
So, here is our agenda for today. We'll start with digital arts and design, then jump into the modern music studio. After that, we'll cover movement and invasion games, and finally wrap up with psychosocial support and safety. Let's get to it.
All right, Part 1, Digital Arts and Design, Creating in the Modern Age. Now, we live in a highly visual world, right? We take millions of photos every single day. But have you ever actually stopped to wonder what the word photography literally translates to when you pull out your smartphone?
It literally means drawing with light. And honestly, that is a profound way to think about it, because lighting is absolutely everything. It sets the mood, it highlights the key elements, and it creates all the visual interest. You aren't just capturing an object, you are literally capturing how light dances across it. Now, there's a really important distinction we need to make between two common digital art styles. On one hand, you have graphic design, which is creating something completely from scratch, like combining typography and color in an app like Canva. On the other hand, there's photo manipulation, which is altering an existing picture, cropping, adjusting contrast, or deleting backgrounds. They are entirely different skills, but both are super powerful ways to express yourself digitally.
And whether you're, say, enhancing the lighting on a portrait of Filipino heroes or designing a blockbuster movie poster, the golden rules remain exactly the same: contrast, alignment, and repetition. Contrast demands the viewer's attention, alignment creates order out of chaos, and repetition gives your piece this beating visual rhythm. But since we can now easily fix blemishes or even create entirely new digital realities with just a few swipes, it begs a really big question. With all this power right at our fingertips, how do we use it responsibly?
Well, the line is actually pretty clear. It's perfectly fine to enhance textures, fix lighting, or just get super creative for art's sake. But the ethical line is drawn the very second manipulation turns into deception. If your edit tricks the audience into believing a false reality or misrepresents a real event, you've crossed it. Moving right along to Part 2, the modern music studio, engineering sound. Just like visual arts have transformed, the way we engineer sound has totally evolved. If you want to make music today, you don't necessarily need $1 million recording studio full of massive mixing boards. But you absolutely need to know the answer to this technical question. What is a DAW? A digital audio workstation, or DAW, is your software ecosystem for creating, recording, and editing music. Apps like BandLab essentially put a fully functioning studio right in your pocket. You can literally produce a full track on your morning commute, totally replacing the need for a room full of physical instruments. It's a real game changer. And inside these DAWs, producers frequently use something called sampling. This technique lets you grab an existing sound, maybe a snappy drum break from an obscure 1970s vinyl or a quirky vocal, and creatively loop it into a modern hit. It is the ultimate musical recycling, brilliantly blending the old with the new. Okay, let's step away from the screens for Part 3, Movement and Invasion Games, the Physical Pillar. Because a balanced life isn't just about studios and software. It's about sweat, mechanics, and play. Think about the year 1891. That was December 1891, the exact time Dr. James Naismith invented the game of basketball at Springfield College. It's kind of wild to think that one of the most dynamic, high-energy global sports today started simply as an indoor winter activity to keep bored students active. Now, to actually play the game Naismith invented, you must master a few fundamental skills, and the biggest one is dribbling. It is the legal, foundational way to advance the ball while keeping it in contact with the floor. Without this, the whole game just breaks down. And it's really fascinating how we classify this type of play. High-energy sports like basketball, alongside patintero and kickball, are what we call invasion games. The entire goal is to aggressively push into your opponent's territory to score. Compare that to archery, which is purely a target game. There, it's just you, a bow, and a stationary bullseye. The physical and strategic demands are literally night and day. Finally, we reach Part 4, Psychosocial Support and Safety, Protecting the Mind. Let's slow down for a second. None of the creativity or physical activity we just talked about matters if we don't have a safe foundation to build it on. A truly balanced learner requires healthy connections. We're talking about trusting, supportive relationships with family, friends, teachers, and coaches. We are deeply social creatures, right? Without a network that offers a sense of belonging and acceptance, our overall well-being simply collapses.
When we break down a trusted network, we see all these different pillars of support: practical, informational, and economic. But above all of those, emotional support is absolutely vital. Sometimes just having someone willing to actively listen, offer genuine empathy, and provide encouragement is the single most powerful lifeline a person can have. And you know, that empathy must also extend to our physical environments, especially where we learn. A truly safe school doesn't just rely on having a few rules printed on a wall somewhere. No. A safe school actively enforces anti-bullying programs and provides dedicated safe spaces, rather than just brushing reports under the rug. It is all about proactively creating a culture of safety.
Beyond the schoolyard, structural safety is codified in our actual laws. Take Republic Act 9262, for example. This legislation exists strictly to protect families, particularly women and children, from violence and threats. It's definitive proof that psychosocial support isn't just a personal favor someone does for you, it is a structural human right backed by the state.
We also see structural support in inclusive educational programs like the ALS, or Alternative Learning System. This program provides non-formal education for out-of-school youth and adults. It is a fantastic safety net. It ensures that education and community connection remain accessible to everyone, proving there is always a pathway to growth.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to look at your own daily routine. We've seen how drawing with light, engineering sound, staying active in invasion games, and fostering deep emotional networks form this ultimate human blueprint. So ask yourself, are you actively building all four of these pillars? Or is one holding all the weight, just waiting to snap? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.